Welcome to another edition of Inside EKU Sports, the second we have done remotely. And we will talk football in our first two segments, beginning with our new defensive coordinator, a former colonel himself who played on the offensive line back in the early 2000s, Jake Johnson. Jay, good to have you back. I know you were a longtime assistant coach here and settling back into Richmond. How are things going?
Everything's going well. We're actually getting ready to head back up that way on Thursday and close on the house. So getting settled in, getting the family over there next month, and excited to be back home.
Understand you're going to be a neighbor of mine.
Yeah, that's right. Hey, you'll be right around the corner. You hold it down over there now.
All right. So this is strange times, and everybody has to adjust. And for you and the staff, there's a learning curve because you're taking over. So how much are you going to miss the normal spring ball, and how much could that potentially set you back?
Well, I think everyone's dealing with the same thing. So there is a learning curve dealing with new athletes. You kind of finding out what this bunch of colonels can do, what their strengths are, what their weaknesses, things like that. So it's going to set us back a little bit, but I'm not looking at it that way. I'm more of a base defense type guy and be multiple when you have to. So we're going to get good at the things we need to get good at during training camp, and I'm not going to look at it as a downside at all.
You were on the offensive side of the football as a center all conference, but you've been a defensive coach. When you were here in the past, you coached the defensive line. Is that an advantage in a way that you see it from the other side of the football?
Well, I think it is. I think it really helps me out breaking down teams, especially in the run game, things that they want to do. It's been something I've been on it, the defensive side for so long. I almost have I don't know if I could go back and coach on offense. I've been on defense since 2004 when Coach Denera hired me as his defensive line GA.
Walt Wells was at EKU like you as an assistant, and so there's a lot of connections there. What was the selling point from Walt to you to come back to EKU?
Well, it wasn't a hard selling point for Coach Wells. Coach Wells was actually when I came there when I was a freshman, when Coach Kidd and Coach Hart recruited me to EKU. He was the dorm coach when I was there. So when I was learning how to play college football, when I was learning my plays and learning how to be accountable, he was the guy I went and seeked advice from a bunch when he was the dorm coach over there with me. And when it was his opportunity he got the head coaching job and he gave me a call, I was ready to go. Coach Wells has been a mentor to me and throughout my coaching career, so it was an easy decision for me.
According to NCAA and OVC guidelines, no in-person activity between coaches and athletes, no virtual physical activity, just all workouts voluntary. You can have non-physical contact virtually with athletes. So how are you telling your players on your side of the football to stay in some kind of shape and stay engaged when we don't know when you can get back together on the football?
Well, I think the biggest thing for us is being in constant contact with those guys. We have a position meeting with our guys through Zoom twice a week right now, and we've talked about starting to do some segment things like that, and just trying to have each other hold each other accountable through that, and talk about our guys working out. What are we doing in those things? So that's the biggest way we're doing it. Just staying in contact. And making sure that the guys are working out, and you got to trust your teammates. You got to trust the guys that are playing for you.
Doing a lot of film breakdown during this downtime or different time, or how are you using your time?
Well, the biggest thing we're doing right now as a staff is we're getting the 2021 class, evaluating a bunch of film. Doing that. So I've been doing a lot of film that way. I've done some self-analysis on my years as being a coordinator when I was over Murray State, things I've done, getting some playbook stuff up to date, really trying to use this time right here as like you would do as a coach when it's June or July, when you're down a little bit and because I don't know what June and July is going to bring. We may have an opportunity to have players back on campus. We may have an opportunity to do some things with those guys we haven't got in the past. So if that opportunity comes, I don't want to be bogged down with my normal June and July stuff.
You were on the staff at EKU over a decade, then you were at Murray State for the past 4 years. So the OVC forwards and backwards. So It's easier for you, right, to evaluate the level of talent and where everything fits in, I would assume.
Yeah, it's I've been in this league for a long time. I've played in it, coached in it almost exclusively. So I do have a good feeling of where guys are in this league and the teams in this league and the coaches, guys come and go, and I kind of go from there.
You, on signing day as a staff, signed 17, 15 out of high school ranks, 2 transfers, may have added a couple of more commits since then. And it was pretty heavily leaned toward, I saw 5 linebackers, 2 defensive backs. So how do you feel? And again, a lot of guys redshirt when they come in. I mean, college football is a little different than other sports, but how do you feel about recruiting class number 1?
Well, I really like the recruiting class. We have some really good defensive linemen in that class and some outside backers that when you watch them, you watch their highlight tape, they can flat out play, and they have the length and the things that we want as a program. So I've been pretty excited about those guys. Even talking to them, I've actually reached out to every one of them in the last week or so, just talking to them about them working out and what they're doing. And one of the things I told them when we were recruiting them is, hey, the only difference between you and the guys we already have in the program is going to be 15 practices. Well, me talking to them now, I'm saying, well, there ain't no difference. They just play college football for you. So we're excited.
Well, finally, when we finally get back to football and we play at Roy Kidd Stadium, they got the statue of Roy up there now, and everybody will go up there and sing Cabin on the Hill.
Yeah,
it was a little different song when you played, right? You still got it down?
Yeah, I still got it down. I that's one of those things that burnt in my brain, So I had the fortune to lead that thing a couple of times when I was a player, and look forward to singing it again on top of that hill.
All right, good to catch up with you again, and hope you make safe travels back to Richmond, get settled in, and hopefully we'll be kicking the pigskin off here sooner than later.
No doubt. Good talking to you.
All right. Jay Johnson, he is the defensive coordinator at EKU. We'll flip sides of the football and talk with Andy Richman. He is the new offensive coordinator. That's next here on Inside EKU Sports.
At Eastern Kentucky University, we recognize greatness starts in the classroom, but it doesn't end there. You have to get hands-on, get real-world experience, and discover who you are meant to be. Be a rising star. Be a hero. Be a colonel. See what you can be. Visit go.eku.edu/colonel.
Andy Richman was a graduate assistant at Eastern Kentucky University in 2002 and 2003, and he's now back as offensive coordinator at EKU, also running backs coach. And Andy joins us. Welcome back to Richmond. Good to have you back on campus.
I appreciate it. Good to be back.
So let me go way back first. Roy Kidd was at EKU as you joined. What did you learn from Coach Kidd, a legend that's in the Hall of Fame now?
Oh, man, I tell you, just how to be a quality coach, that was the thing. A lot of the lessons, he had seen so much by that time that I think he forgot more than he actually had done at some point in time. So, but yeah, a lot of the lessons he was able to hand down that way, tips and pointers and that kind of stuff going forward in the profession and all that. So that was great and very helpful for me being a young coach and first starting out, that still use some of that stuff nowadays.
Last 5 years at New Mexico State, before that part of a staff that won a national title at Valdosta State, one of the greatest Division II programs. You were at Wisconsin as well. Mm-hmm. How do you bring all those together and bring a philosophy of how you want an offense to run at EKU with your past knowledge?
Yeah, it's an interesting melt. I think you're able to take like you said, a couple of things from each place, and the main thing we want to be able to do this year is be multiple in everything that we do. So that's where I think that the melt comes in, and take bits and pieces from all of it. Want to do a couple of things we were doing at Wisconsin as far as in the run game, and be some multiple and some formations and shifts and motions and that kind of stuff. But we want to be able to have some tempo at times too, and that kind of stuff, like we were doing at Valdosta State when we were a little bit faster. Yep.
So you go into spring ball, and it's much like a chemist going into a laboratory, and you learn a lot and you work on things. That's out the window. So how has that impacted you as a staff and the players, especially since this is a new staff taking over and really needs to learn a lot of things?
Yeah, it's really what's important is exactly what we're doing right now. These Zoom meetings, being able to get together with the players. We have a certain number of hours that we can use every week with them. So it's the constant communication, and it's been a little bit of a challenge, but it's been good. The learning curve is a little bit higher right now, but being able to have all your plans together, get with them every day, be able to do everything. It's a lot of on the board learning and that kind of stuff. Obviously we're going to miss the physical and actually doing it, but we're re-going over installs, re-going over the playbook over and over again, quizzes, tests, that kind of stuff. So hopefully mentally we'll be as sharp as we can. So whenever that time comes and we can get on the field, that curve will be a little bit less than normal.
How have you liked the attitude of the players and the team?
It's been good so far. This could have went a couple different ways with this, the whole situation going on out in the world, and everybody being thrown into a different element, and that's the thing I've been impressed, even before all this happened, actually, honestly, impressed with the kids and that kind of stuff, their adaptability, their willingness to learn, their willingness to be great, their willingness to do everything that they need to do. You don't have that with everybody at a lot of different places and all the time. And that's been one of the things that's amazed me so far here, but I haven't seen one of our players bat an eye yet. Everybody's at every meeting. Everybody's willing to learn and do it. I think they know what's ahead of them, and if we do this the right way, what we can get done coming up.
I talked to Coach Wells a little bit the other day. He said you were able to have a fourth quarter drill before everything got shut down. Explain that, and what did the team learn from that?
Yeah, that was able to have some time where they were able to do some workouts. We were able to get some running and conditioning in, able to do that. And then we're also able to implement some of our beginning philosophies on offense and defense. So we were able to get a few things in during that period of time. So that did help us. That did help us a little bit. We did get the first couple of days that we talked about offensively, what we our base philosophy, our base plays, kind of what we want to do and go through. So I think that will help us here a little bit coming up.
The quarterbacks are obviously the key. They're like a baseball team. They need a shortstop up the middle. What have you and your offensive coaches done to tell the quarterbacks, because you can't really do any virtual training with them under the NCAA rules. So what upon themselves, what are you asking them to do within the confines of restrictions that everybody faces now because of the virus?
Yeah, they have a lot of stuff that we left them before we even took off for spring break that we we're going to have them do. Some of the guys are still around town or back, and what's been good is that those guys have been able to take the leadership role and do that and get a lot of those guys together. I know the quarterbacks are throwing with some of the receivers and running backs that are still around and every day going through that process. So, that's really as much as you can do is kind of give them the shell of what they need to get done, and the rest is upon them. So I think what's going to be good is definitely if they haven't had it before, they're going to build that leadership qualities right now with the team.
Andy, it's been a while since you've been here, but do you still remember the words to Cabin on the Hill?
I remember some of them. I'll be honest. I don't know if I remember the whole thing, but I will get that here again pretty soon.
And the song has changed the way it's sung. I just want to put you on warning for that. Let's hope we get the football season and we sing it a lot at Roy Kidd Stadium.
Oh God, I hope so. That's the plan. So I'm looking forward to it and to get back going. It's a great place.
All right, good to talk to you, and welcome back to campus. Appreciate it.
All right, appreciate you.
All right, that's Andy Richman, offensive coordinator for the EKU football team. When we continue here on Inside EKU Sports, we'll check in with a soccer player that will help represent her nation in the upcoming World Cup U20. That next on Inside EKU Sports.
At Eastern Kentucky University, we recognize greatness starts in the classroom, but it doesn't end there. You have to get hands-on, get real-world experience, and discover who you are meant to be. Be a crime fighter. Be a visionary. Be a colonel. See what you can be. Visit go.eku.edu/colonel.
Welcome back to Inside EKU Sports. We talk soccer now with goalie Zoe Aguirre, who is back in her home area of Southern California. Strange times. How are you dealing with all this change, online school, having to work out on your own and things like that, Zoe?
I mean, it is very weird. It's very strange. I never thought we would be in this time where everything's kind of crazy. But I mean, it's been good. It's been good to be back home. Working out is fine. Everything else is good. School, but it's just weird. Just going to the store and seeing everybody covered up and scared. It's very weird. It's very strange. So.
In addition to playing for Eastern Kentucky, you've been named to the U20 Mexican national team for the U20 World Cup that's scheduled to be played in Costa Rica and Panama in August. So what have they told you about the potential of that tournament continuing, and how are you getting ready for that, plus the next college season?
Yeah, so recently FIFA came out with some news that they're suspending our World Cup. So we're not sure. I think they're going to move it to November, but they have suspended our World Cup because of everything going on. And yeah, so I just hope that this ends soon. So we're able to play our sport in the fall at Eastern and hopefully reschedule the World Cup sooner. So
how are you keeping in touch with your Colonel teammates and with the coaching staff?
We have weekly Zoom meetings. So we have a fitness packet as well. So we are put into different groups each week, and we just talk about how we've been, how's the packet in our Zoom meeting. So it's good. We're still all in contact, so it's nice.
You've been in goal for the Colonels 2 seasons, 119 saves in 26 games, 9 shutouts. Do you feel like you're maturing as a college player as your career goes along at EKU?
I do. Especially last season, I feel like I grew a lot from the games that we played, and our whole season. It wasn't what we wanted. It's not how we wanted it to turn out, but I feel like each of us grew a lot from it, mentally a lot. So I feel like I did mature a ton.
When you get back to campus, it will be somewhat a new team. I mean, there are 13 new players coming in, so you have to mesh the old with the new, second year of your head coach. So you have to be looking forward to that when and if the time comes that you get back on the pitch.
Yeah, there's a ton of new players coming in, and all my teammates that are here right now are going to make sure they have a great transition into the team because we need them to come in and be ready to play. So
you played in the U20 World Cup in France back in 2018. What was that experience like?
It was a great experience. It was tiring. It was everything you could possibly think of, but it was just it was different. So you're always on the road, you're traveling to different hotels, and you're practicing twice a day. So it's very tiring and different, but it was very exciting when the games would come, and just standing in the stadium, it's just a whole different feeling, but it's nice. I love it.
the mixture of playing for a national team and playing college, I mean, that really keeps you busy, keeping up your schoolwork, training for two different teams. You have to feel like a juggler at times, I would think.
Yeah, especially this past being away for 6 weeks, that was very hard. Keeping up with school and just trying to keep up with my team, see how they are, and focusing on the national team. My coach always just told me like, focus on now. Don't worry about what's going on over there. Like focus on what you're doing. And he's right. Like you just need to focus on what you're in control of. So
Finally, what's your goal for this coming soccer season when it gets underway at EKU?
my goal for next season is I hope that we do well. I hope that we go to the OVC tournament and we win the OVC tournament and go to the NCAA tournament. So I hope everyone on our team has the same objective and we go and get that ring. So
Sounds like a great goal. You were close your freshman year, and I'm sure your junior year will be the same. Stay safe, and hope to see you back in Richmond soon.
thank you. You too.
All right, Zoe Aguirre with the soccer team, and that does it for another edition of Inside EKU Sports. You can like and follow all of the social media pages that you see on your screen to keep up with Colonel Athletics. We'll be back in 2 weeks with another edition remotely of Inside EKU Sports. Until then, as always, go Big E.